going today. So today is about 10 discipline methods that are shaping your child negatively. They are not only shaping your child today, they are also shaping tomorrow. Remember, it's our month of next month parenting yourself, and we'll be looking at some of the things that actually shaped us, some of them that created the mindsets that we have, the mindset that we have right now that are sabotaging us. Discipline is one of the major ways we are training our children. For discipline is training. We are disciplining our children. We are actually teaching them. We are programming them to show up in certain ways. We are installing how they will show up to what we are installing how they will show up to their friends when they grow up. We are installing how they will show up when it comes to money, their relationship with everything. We're installing it. Relationship with money, their relationship with self, their relationship with culture, with spirituality. We are installing things in them. Today we are talking about reparenting ourselves. Discipline was one of the ways we parented. Today we want to look at 10 discipline methods using that are helping our children negatively, not just today, but for tomorrow. Remember, I always say that, see, parenting is not just about today, because after a while, our children stop being children. They will grow up, they will leave the house, then our results will begin. When they're independent, when they have to show up, our results will begin. So one of the ways we are preparing them is discipline. The relationship with money. Oh, I sorry, one time why doing business is always a task for me, why I really had the confidence to go through with business. It was discipline that programmed me to begin to business. So the way we are disciplining our children are about that. Let's get started. Now, this is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy. An academy where parents are empowered to raise the children they have with confidence, with information, with knowledge, with skills. That is what I mean. So in the Visionary Academy, I tell you something for free, you are missing a deal. Because what Visionary Parent Academy is transformation. So let's go. Discipline method you are using today that are shaping your child negatively. I may sabotage them tomorrow. But I'll start with the one right now, but let me hold that one later. I'm just going to talk about discipline we are using that are shaping our children negatively. We are also going to talk about how we use them and the effects and how they actually shape them negatively. Now, the very first one is shaming and public humiliation. We do this a lot. Things I want to emphasize here today is the fact that sometimes we do these things not deliberately. We don't even realize in it. Now, this is where knowledge to play. This is why you cannot parent today without knowledge. Because if you parent today without knowledge, realize that you will just be defensive, and you will be defensive things that are not right, that are not healthy, that sabotaged you, that will still sabotage our children. At the end of the day, we will just, how do I call it? We'll just be promoting a pattern that is not healthy, that were not healthy for us, that are not healthy for our children. We will just be promoting the pattern. So one of the very first things you need to realize is that you can't parent today without knowledge. You can't parent today without skills. You can't parent without intentionality. The world has changed so much. Now, in the Visionary Parent Academy, these are what we do. We empower you with knowledge, with skills, and hold you accountable. It's a community where we have coaches. You can always reach us anytime. A community read books where beyond having a meeting, we read books, we hold accountable, we learn from trending stories and all of that. So what you want to do is to ask how you can join in the comment section. Anytime video at all, just ask how you can join. and we are going to welcome you a very warm hug. So let's go. One of the first things you want to know is shame and public humiliation. Very many times parents do this. You don't even realize you are doing this. When we have public humiliation and shaming, it's not just about outside when your child is in the crowd. When your child is in with another person that they don't want to hear about it. See, sometimes your child doesn't want their sibling to know what is happening to them. Embarrassed. They don't even want their sibling to know what struggles. They don't even want. It's not necessarily because they are trying to hide. It may be because they just don't feel it's time. They want to overcome. There are very many people, including me, don't want people to know about our struggles, but we are glad to share about our success. When we have succeeded, we now cannot confidently share our struggles. We don't want our struggles to be the first thing for you to see. So children are like that. Sometimes they don't want people to know about their struggles, even their siblings, even their relatives and all of that. So what as parents, when we constantly their weaknesses before people, even their siblings, their everyone around them, we are embarrassing. I want you to know this. Now it is even worse with some parents, even in public, they want to show people that, oh, I'm a disciplinarian, I don't take nonsense from children. Because of that, they will now subject their children to public ridicule. Hey, that is absolutely even worse. You are not paying for the world. No. Personally, I always say to parents, what I care about is the results you get, the child you are raising. The whole child you raise at the end of the day is what should be your goal. Is what I care about, and not the public humiliation you are giving your child. So first thing, public embarrassment. You know, there is a course we have in the Visionary Parents Academy, how to earn your child. You know, talking about, oh, children, you have your child, something is going on with your child. They can't tell you, not to tell you why, because you have that they have not been able to trust you. And one of the reasons I always is that when your child has an experience as a parent, you go and tell your relative, you go and tell your own sister, your own brother. One of the things you always don't remember, that your brother and your sister, they are not your child's brother and sister. For all you know, your child may not be comfortable in their issues with those ones. So I always say to parents, I know as a parent, you also want to talk to someone, especially someone help. Now, here is how I tell parents to balance it. If you know the person is not going to help, there is no problem with that person. Why will you take your child issue to go and talk to someone that doesn't have a solution that can help? So it's a no, except that person can help and that person genuinely wants to help. Is okay, you can go and talk about it. But when you know that that person cannot help and that person doesn't want to help, there is no point talking to the person about it. That is number one. You see, shaming, public embarrassment is a big no. Don't subject your child to no. Public shaming. What do you do? First of all, it breaks trust completely. Your child has intense fear for failure and social anxiety, often leading to deeply hidden life, then to become deceptive just to prove their dignity. You know, one of the things I always say is, at the end of the day, people are sabotage deal as they grow older, especially in their adult life. You don't realize it. You are not easily able to trace the patterns back, except when you see that you want to reparent yourself, except maybe you now go for counseling and they are able to trace your patterns. Otherwise, we are not able to trace patterns back. I always say, if people around, people will sit back and judge. Before you judge them, one of the things we want to do is, if we want to look at the seeds that were planted in them, the environment they up, what they received, we'll realize that really they are coming from a very long place and that we are not supposed to be judging. But hey, what do we know? What we know is just to judge and then we on. So the first thing you want to be aware of is public embarrassment. Like I told you, when it comes to public embarrassment, it's not just that about your child being in the public space and you are embarrassed them, even in the privacy of your home. If you have your extended relative, those things, no. I always generate Parent Academy that correction, not correction, and discipline is not an emergency. For very many of us, we just have the immediate urge. We want to we want to discipline. Discipline is not an emergency. You must that your amygdala is hijacking your reasoning when you want to discipline your child. If your amygdala hijacks, what happens is you're going to, when your amygdala hijack, you're living on survivor. Everything around you becomes a threat. And is that you fight, you take fight. So it is why your discipline will be aggressive. It's going to be, even when you are not maybe hitting the child or something, you will end up things you are not supposed to say, because at that time you want to protect yourself. Survivor. What do you want to do? Discipline must be well thought. Discipline must never be an emergency. So even no matter what happens, you must learn to pause and be true. Now I always give this example when I talk about public embarrassment in discipline. I say you go and pick your child from school and the teacher reports your child to you, another child reports to you. What do you want to do? You don't want to respond immediately. Tell the teacher, person, apologize to your child. Oh, I'm sorry. When I get home, I'll look at. Let them look at you as, oh, you are spoiling your parent. You are spoiling. Nah, you are not trying to impress them. You want to understand what happened to your child. What happened? Your child did what they did, so that you can correct. Your goal is actually to correct. Correction is training. You want to discipline rather, and discipline is training. It's not on the spot. So when somebody tells you about your child, you don't have to immediately. You are not fighting. What do you want to do? Thank them, apologize to them, tell them when I get home, I'll look into the matter. In our Nigeria setting, especially, people just expect you to on the spot. If you don't respond, you are spoiling your child. Are you spoiling your child? Now, this is why you must parent confidence. This is one of the things we do in the Visionary Parents Academy. Help you understand your child, and you parent with confidence. Parent with confidence. You must be confident. You must be confident. You must realize, I'm not parent for you. You have reported to me. I know I need to grab to the root cause of this thing. And it takes time. It's not automatic, So I will come back to you. It doesn't matter. You don't have to parent to please people. You are parenting to raise a child who will be able to function effectively. Not just function effectively, who will be able to thrive in today's world. So firstly, public embarrassment, public humiliation is a no-no. Now, this is why in the Parents Academy, one of the first things we do is work on our emotions, emotionally intelligent. Because when you are not emotionally intelligent, you are not able to pause and realize that discipline emotion is not an emergency. You need to be able to be emotionally intelligent to realize that discipline is not an emergency. So number one, public shaming, public humiliation, a no. Number two, withholding love and affection from your child. Many parents do this a lot. How does it show up? Silent treatments. Refusing to look at or withholding hugs and comfort for hours or days after the offense is very, very common. Today, Frank Edoho and then Chike and the wife, okay, Edoho and his wife, then Chike, they are trending. What happened? An old video of Frank Edoho about how he is the malice king is trending, and people hailing the wife, and people are him and hailing the wife and Chike. Silent treatment. Where do you think he learned that from? Of course, he learned and when we talk about it is not only how you are disciplining your child, shaping your child. How you also discipline people around you is shaping your child. You have domestic staff. How you discipline them is shaping your. You have a spouse. Your spouse, you have issues. How you maybe correct your child. How you how you discipline your child, your spouse. How you talk to your spouse about the issues you have. Shaping your child, your spouse, your child. You have neighbors around you. What do you do when you have issues with them? They are all shaping the child you have. I always say to parents that sometimes a lot of you get away with the things you do, but if we want to raise children who join local champions, who thrive globally, we must realize that there are things that don't serve us, that will not serve them. They serve us local champions. So because they are going to be global champions, things will not serve them. Serve. Imagine you are just maybe a regular man keeping a wife coming out to say it. It may not have been a, but because Frank Edoho is not just a local champion, a global champion, the thing has and it has backfired. There are some women I read on social media, women they will say for the past 5 years, them and their husbands they are not in talking terms. I'm always wondering how do you even do this? You are married, staying in the same house. The husbands are getting away with it. But Frank has been married twice. He's been married twice, and obviously, this may have been one of the reasons for his first marriage, why his first marriage wrecked, and now the second one again. So it is serving you. It may not serve the child. It may not. It may sabotage a big deal. So ignoring, when you also ignore your child, tell you something, because in life we are always going to have misunderstandings with people. Someone said on my Facebook post, if you are not following me on Facebook, it's time you follow, because my Facebook posts are very empowering. Someone said we misunderstand to understand ourselves. It makes a lot of sense. So when you ignore your child, use silent treatment or malice. Parents don't always want to call it malice. They'll say I'm ignoring him. I'll tell them you are keeping malice with your child. When you do that, guess what? You are not teaching them how to resolve conflict, emotional intelligence. You are not teaching them how to communicate. A parent reached out to me this evening and she said something that, okay, she doesn't always like to talk when she doesn't always like issues. And I told her, no, you must talk about issues. In fact, I gave her an example. I said, when I'm married, my dad is melancholic. So mood swings. My husband too has his primary temperament is melancholic. And so, that kind of person that he doesn't want to, they are controlled by mood. I told my husband, they know I walked on eggshells around my dad. I will not walk on eggshells around my husband in my marriage. So we'll have issues. You are going to express yourself. We are going to talk about it. Communicate. Why won't you be able to communicate? Super important. It is super important. So one of the first things you want to learn is how to communicate. Do I blame her? It's not her fault. Maybe growing how her parents resolve conflict, and she has unlearned that part of it. She has not unlearned it, because very many of us, yes, our parents did certain things. We now have to unlearn it on our own to make better choices. If you don't unlearn it, you are not going to make better. They are going to sabotage you. They will not just sabotage you. You're also going to continue a pattern that may sabotage your children. So withholding love, withholding affection, silent treatment is number 2. A no, not just using silent treatment to discipline your child. Your people around you, your child is learning. Your child is learning. Silent treatment sabotage your child tomorrow, because your child will not have learned communication skills. They will not have learned conflict resolution. What they learn from you is how to use silent treatment. I mean, if someone offends you, was it today I was telling this mom or someone recently, I said, sometimes we assume that people have offended us. They may not know that they have offended us. We just assume. We start ignoring them. And some people, there's only so much they can take. You ignore them for a while and they try to come around, you ignore them, they will ignore you too. You have not told them what they have done wrong, that they can apologize or anything. They can explain themselves. You are ignoring them. Silent treatment. Even when they know what they have done wrong. When they know, give them opportunity. Silent treatment. It will sabotage you. It will sabotage your child. It will sabotage them tomorrow. Because for today, I remember one time a parent reached out. What happened? The daughter was caught in a compromising position, another girl in school. And then what happened was the mom now started giving her silent treatment. 3 days she was not talking to the girl. I understand the fact that yes, sometimes children misbehave and you are super upset. You need time to process it. But not going to 2 days, even 1 whole day, no, now it's too much. It's too much. You don't need a whole day, 24 hours to process it. A couple of hours, sit with yourself. So you have a community like the Visionary Parent Academy. This is why you must Visionary Parent Academy. When you realize this thing is too much, I cannot understand it, you reach out. We have 4 coaches. I'm one of them. Out. This is what happened. I will talk about it later. The goal is not to damage the child. The child has made a mistake. The mistake your child has made does not define your child. Your child has made a mistake. That mistake does define your child. How you respond to that mistake will go a long way to define your child more than mistake will. The truth of the matter. Are you going to throw the child away? I saw a video, was it yesterday, of a girl who went to steal. She stole 3 phones. I think she was being beaten or something like that. And they asked her about her parents. She said her parents from the home some time back. That is it. They sent her away from the home, maybe because of her misbehavior, maybe or stealing or they sent her away from the home. A young girl, nowhere to stay, nobody to meet. What is she now doing? She has to survive. She's in the street. She has to survive. Either now she goes into full stealing, or she goes to start selling her body because she has to feed. She was able to wear uniform. She has to survive. She has to buy her 30 hours. She has to do basic things. You see, at the end of the day, the misbehavior she misbehaved at home, if they have probably counseling for her, gotten mentorship for her, been able to maybe unlearn or grow out misbehavior, but they have thrown her into this. That is their response to it. In the street, she has to survive. So that misbehavior she made, she will now grow fully into it. At the end of the day, they will say, I've always known she has always been a useless girl. She has not always been a useless girl. What made her useless? Trained her into the street. So I was telling this parent then, when I asked her, what did the daughter do? We went to investigate to realize one of the reasons the daughter actually was going for she was just a small girl in JSS1 or JSS2. I think one of the reasons was because in school she felt she confidently put her in that school because they had a community and their kids were in that school. So she was hoping that when she gets there, she'll be able to mix with these people and be happy together. Unfortunately, she got there. They were kind of envious of her. Your parents always feel they have money. You have money. They're always traveling the world, buying nice things, and all of that. So that was it. So they started sadly. Nobody wanted to play with her. So she now wanted a friend of her own, someone they will be playing together. She now got to meet a particular girl, and for them to have something in common, something to protect, she had to think of something we can do together, something, a common interest, something that brings us together. That was it. A girl that was seeing love, validation, acceptance wrong way. She's now you want to discipline her, you are ignoring her. Seeking acceptance the wrong way, you are ignoring her. Make it make sense. At the end of the day, she will have so around. Maybe one irresponsible uncle will be around. Maybe one irresponsible auntie will be around. They will now be showing. Remember, she was seeking acceptance. She will now see yearning for that acceptance because you ignoring her don't solve that her yearn for acceptance. It has not filled it. It has not reached it. So by the time she now goes and those people see her, people they can profile. They profile, they groom her. She goes there. Tomorrow you will say, when she was small, she has always been like this. She has always been like this. It is what you are doing, how you responded to her that actually brought her, shaped that in her. So what am I saying? Ignoring a child does not only have effect in the future, it has effect today. It has a greater effect today. There has a great, in fact, it has great effect both today and tomorrow. 2, withholding love and affection from your child. 3, using fear and intimidation. I saw a video today where the girl was talking about, half of the 5 years she had not gone to church. Why has she not gone to church? Because one time, not that She actually was a church girl in the church. She was even a chorist. She has scholarship. She went to university, at secondary school, or scholarship. She even had excess money for her scholarship covered some part of her siblings tuition fee. Not that she was a charity, but because she sang so well one day, and the pastor told her that the spirit laid it upon her to give her a scholarship, and that was how she got scholarship. So for the past 5 years, this girl has not gone to church. She just wants to she's just trying to go back to church now, to discover herself and all of that. One of the reasons we keep using fear and intimidation. Remember, these children will grow. I was talking to a mom one time, and she was telling me the thing she uses to train her children is hellfire. Or she keeps telling them hellfire. So that is it. I just smiled and I see, we're not raising our children for today. We're not raising children for one of the worst mistakes you can do as a parent is to keep child, because the time will come you will never force them. One of the worst mistakes you can parent to use fear and intimidation, because the time will come to grow, they will understand. When they grow and understand, it will happen. That trust. That is why very many people they trust their parents. Very many children, teenagers trust their parents. You don't know what goes on in the life of your child, because you have used an intimidation to box them. As they grow older, they'll realize it is not true. Now, this is why I'm big on telling your child the reason. You understand the reason why you want your child not to do certain things. Understand the reason for yourself and be able to communicate that reason to your child. I saw a video yesterday or so, where people were cooking and they were loading the food with alcohol, and strong alcohol. At the end of the day, some other people ate the food and they were all out. And I said, when you tell your child, for example, don't eat outside, this is a handy example to teach your child that it's not about fear of poison. It's not about of someone being and things like that. You can begin to teach your child reality. There's a consequence for every act. There is a consequence, natural consequence. If there's no natural consequence, create logical consequence. Logical consequence serves better instilling fear than teaching with fear. Fear and intimidation. What happens when you use fear and intimidation? It shuts down the reasoning part of the brain and activates survival instinct. The child doesn't learn why the behavior was wrong. They only learn how to avoid your anger. This breeds bullying, deeply passive adults under pressure. Don't use fear. Your result, some of the discipline measures you use, the results are just temporary, quick fix. You get now, and those results are not deeply rooted. The child is not convinced. They're not convinced. It is why tomorrow they will still do that same thing. They will still do that same thing. It is why older you will not come and say, oh, did they come to steal? No, the child was never convinced from the. One of the things you want to do as a parent is to make sure you don't use fear and intimidation. Your child must understand why it is for their own good. If you don't hide for their own good, it is why you need to join the Visionary Parents Academy. We have the family constitution, for example, over 50 behaviors. Your child will not be forced. They will begin to learn why. And any behavior our family constitution does, feel free to bring it up. And we are break it down, tell you why. Tell your child don't steal. It's a why that benefits them. Tell them don't tell them. It's a why that benefits them. Yesterday in church, I was teaching my children about modesty. We're talking about fashion, modesty. And I was telling them something I always tell them. I say, no matter what you make, God will not stop being God. No matter what you do, God will not. You will never see God crying. You will never see God will not stop being God. Say God is faithful. Do you know what it means? He is who he is. Who he was yesterday, today, ever. God will not stop being God because you decide to make a mess of life. However, God knows that these they will benefit you. I was telling them, I said the girl was being embarrassed in space. If she had dressed modestly, would anybody have had any reason to embarrass her? Nobody. I'm not saying the guys were definitely not right. They were wrong. They were wrong. They should be arrested. The truth of the matter is, if the girl was well covered, nobody would have harassed her. She would have been safe, saved her face. Who was embarrassed? The girl or God? The girl. Has God warned her about? Yes, God has told her, dress modestly. Nothing happens when you are teaching your children. Let them understand whatever you are teaching them is for their own good. And how it's for their own good is something to break down to them. Break it. Explain how it is for their good. They will understand. It's for them to actually go run with it than when you begin to use fear and intimidation. Don't intimidate your child into getting. Don't use fear into getting things done. Reach the nurture conviction. Number is labeling. Labeling the character instead of the behavior. Now, one of the major things we need to do, one of the best ways we can raise the children with this raise is to help our children understand, give them an identity, let them know who they are becoming. Now, when you correct, there's a way you correct a child that you are not correcting the behavior, attacking the identity. When you attack the child's identity, you're already confusing the child. The same you that has dreams, visions for your child, the same you that is telling your child they can be anything they want to be, the same you attacking that same identity that you are trying to create. At the end of the day, you leave your child confused. How it shows up, saying things like you are a liar, you are lazy, or you are clumsy, focusing strictly on the specific behavior. When you are saying you are this, you are that, you are labeling the child. You are the child in name, you are lazy, you are clumsy. The damage is that it creates self-fulfilling prophecy. Children believe the identity their parents give them. If you tell them that they are rebels, often enough, they will eventually embrace the role they believe it is who they are. And the truth is, when you say all things, they will say, I remember a friend of mine will say, who is supposed to hurt? Supposed to be your friend now, somebody close to you hurt you, and that is it. Not people far away. There are things people far away do, you will just take it and you ignore. People close to you do that thing, you will be so free and you feel so betrayed. The same thing happens when there are things that can say things to your children, they will not believe them. But when you, the parents, the most important person in the child's life, the trusted person in the child's life, when you begin to say or do things, your child will believe them. Because when maybe something happens, they want to investigate, who do they call? They'll call people that person to the call. Why? They know you very well. So when they say what they say about you, the same thing happens to your child. So when you the parents that gave birth to the child, you know the child very well. You say certain things, they sink more, they enter more, they shape the child's identity. So a total stranger saying it. You even know the words of, because strangers are saying these things every day. People are saying these things, and the child comes home. You now validate what others are saying. Someone your child lazy outside. Your child comes home. Whether they believe it or not, they come home. You further say to them, call them lazy. You have validated, you have told the child that it is true. Number 5, inconsistency and keep moving your goalposts. Sometimes you let behavior slide when you're in a good mood. When you are tired, when you are in a good mood, you let behavior. When you are tired, you let the behavior slide. So instead of it to maybe you want to maybe when you are tired, you are yelling, you are shouting everywhere, smacking because you are tired, not because of what your child has done, because of your mood. You are tired. When you're in a good mood, like Pontifar's wife, like Pontifar, You just, it's not Potiphar's wife. Pharaoh. It's Pharaoh now. That Herod. Thank you. When you are tired, when you are in a good mood like Herod, you tell your child, name everything, half of the kingdom, I will give it to you. When you are happy. So your mood is in what you do. You become inconsistent, moving the goalpost. What happens? The same behavior you punish severely, that same behavior you allow because of your mood. So it's simply values are not determining what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. It is not your value determine how you discipline your child. It's actually your mood determines how you discipline your child. Now, guess what? This destroys the sense of safety and predictability. The child becomes vigilant, constantly reading your facial expressions to see if they're safe, rather than learning how to respect others. Yes, your child know what they are, instead of them to now think what is right or what is wrong. Sometimes they will struggle with that because you are not consistent. Your mood determines. Instead of your child to behave based on your values at home, they are going to behave based on your mood. When mommy is happy, they know get away with some things. When mommy is, what is it called, unhappy, so they are not going to be influenced by your values, rather by your mood. I this no values by your mood. Now this is why very many today no value system. When it comes to values, it is zero over. No value system. Not they want their values to be zero over, rather because they were nurtured in a home that values were just messy. They were just messy. The deal was that the mood of the parents actually dictated the tone of the environment. Number 6 is bribery. Bribery and corruption. Bribery for basic compliance. Now, I'm talking about mood again. I also want to let you know that the Visionary Parent Academy is a place where you can become emotionally intelligent. You are going to learn how to work on your emotions and how to get better. So if you are not with us already, you want to join us for 2027. It's an yearly academy where we have from January to December. So this year we are done with registration, but we have a course coming up next month, Reparent Yourself. In this course, you are going to all the things that are sabotaging you, and you are going to learn to do better. Because very many times we don't realize that sabotaging ourselves. We think, oh, I always say this whenever we do the Reparenting Yourself course. I always ask this. Sometimes or many times you say, oh, this is just who I am. Just ask a question: who told you this is who you are? If you were not raised in your family, if you were not raised in the environment you were raised in, if you didn't go to that school, if you didn't attend church, if you didn't live with your siblings, or maybe you live in a very different place, let's say you live with a peasant in the village, or you lived in the influential royal household in the world, would you be reasoning the way you are reasoning? Would you be doing the things you are doing? Oh, you are likely not going to be doing the things you are. Like the girl that said today, that the video I said I watched, that she didn't go to church for 5. What happened was that she said she thought, okay, she asked, is she a Christian because she went to a Christian, or Christianity is actually the true religion? So she sat back for 5 years. She was trying to evaluate herself. She was trying to understand something, because if she went to a Muslim home, she probably would have ended up a Muslim. But because she was born into a Christian home, that was how she ended up being Christian, you know. So that was how being a Christian. So what am I trying to say? At the end of the day, children, okay, I'm just talking about mood. Our children will not understand values, rather they will understand mood. Mood will determine what they do and not values. Okay, this one already, bribery and corruption, you know. for basic compliance. How it shows up: if you stop crying, I will give you a sweet. If you do your homework, I'll buy you a toy. Bribing our children, bribing them to do chores, to do tasks, to behave, paying them to behave, paying them responsible. It is very one of the things I always tell parents that one of the things you can do for yourself and your children, nurture self ownership in them from small, that their life belongs to them. It is about them. Every choice you are making for yourself, there is no choice you are making for me. There is no choice you are making for anybody else. Every single choice you are making for yourself. And when you bribe your child, when you force your child, you tell them that the choice is not for them. The choice is for, I mean, if the choice is not is for you, why would you have to pay me to make a choice that benefits me? Make it make sense. You are paying me to make a choice that benefits. Make it make sense. Yes, I get it, really. Sometimes maybe the children are some people have, so how do I put this? Some people have so stuck up in a particular way. So you want to say, okay, let's start by, like we say, let's pay people to come and do. I think in some remote part of Nigeria, I don't want to mention the region. They always say, okay, sometimes they bribe them, pay them to come and do things that feed them. But at the end of the day, when they come in, they see that, oh, it's for good. Like a parent who once said he pays her son to, he pays his son to, he told his son, if you can finish a certain book, so amount. And the child finished those books in a couple of short while, and the child got paid. No, I said, okay, fantastic. If you have a child who doesn't ever want to read, be a good idea for you to just motivate them. Because by the time the child read the first book, read the second book, read the third book, the child is already used to reading, and then they realize the difference the book is making in his life. He goes out, he opens and he talks intelligently. That is reading mechanically. Then the child, you can withdraw your payments, paying you again, and the child will now be reading again because you are motivating him, pay him. They'll be reading because they have come to see the benefit. I understand that part. But you see, when we have to pay for everything, for small children, we tell them, oh, if you stop crying, I will do this. If you stop crying, I'll do that. Nah. It is negatively shaping children. It's not shaping them properly, because compliance is negotiable. Behavior is bought. So it simply means that when you are not them, they are not behaving, they're complying. It creates transactional children who lack internal values. They develop a mindset of entitlement, refusing to cooperate or perform basic responsibilities until there is immediate external reward attached to it. When we keep paying them, it is what happens. Life becomes transactional. It becomes, what can I get? What are you going to give me? You and I can tell one or two children around us who are always asking, what am I going to get? What are you giving me? What are you giving me? I was telling some teenagers in my neighborhood one time that, that's not how you cooperate in this place. It's your birthday. You want me to give you a gift. It's my birthday. You want me to give you a gift. When are you going to give me a gift? You come to say, Auntie, tomorrow is my birthday. What are you buying for me? Then they will say, Auntie, tomorrow is your birthday. What are you buying for me? I'm like, it's your birthday, I'm buying something for you. It's my birthday, something for you. Make it make sense. So we begin to raise children who are transactional. Every single thing is transactional. Even if you're in their space, it becomes transactional. So bribing is a no-no, because we want to raise children who are watching, children who make impact, children who have empathy, children who solve problems. And when children are transactional, they're not able to everything about money for them. This transactional mindset is why men actually go into crime. If there's no money involved, I'm not doing it. If there's no money involved, I'm not doing it. The of Money Point said something the other time about how he has over 500 job vacancies, and there is no Nigerian youths are not kind of qualified. people are talking about, oh, how they pay small money, how they pay small money. That same period, I also watched Frank Edo talk about when he started Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was 20,000 for a long, up to a year or two, or even more, until another company, MTN or so, bought it, and he started receiving big. What if he had said when it was 120,000? If you know, he may not have had the break he had. It is that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that brought him out and made him the big boy he is today. So talking about everything becomes how much for me, transactional. I have my teenagers in church. If come for we have a short competition, they are going to sit back. Bible quiz, they are going to sit back. Now say okay, the winner gets 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. You will see all of them. They will sit up. They will win the money. Everything is transaction. No time to develop themselves. That's why we see young people. They don't have that time to develop themselves. So go into betting. They want to do anything that will give them now, because that is the mindset that was nurtured in them. Everything transactional, everything is business, everything is now. They can even tell you to pay them for the air they breathe in. Number 7 is guilt tripping and emotional manipulation. We just watched finish Mama Monica. Mama Monica, you want to leave all the problems for me. Mama Monica, na me be pepper, na me be salt. Everybody is laughing about guilt tripping, and emotional manipulation. How it shows up, saying like, you are making me sick. After everything I sacrificed for you, this is how you pay me back. Trying to make the child feel responsible for your feelings. The damage it does, it creates codependent adults who carry an unnatural burden of guilt. They grow up feeling entirely responsible for other people's happiness, making them highly vulnerable to toxic relative relationships later in life. Now, when each time there's always, why did Osinachi her husband? This person was dead in the family, in the home. Why did he not leave? Tell them that it is not so easy, except a person decide to consciously, deliberately unlearn some patterns. They not unlearn those patterns, will run them and ruin them. Now, this is why the way we discipline children is not even something to play with. The patterns will run them and ruin them unless they decide to intentionally. I have a friend, and was saying that someone said to her that she was considering therapy with someone. She was saying even therapy cannot fix this issue this particular person has. Say they wake up and they decided to unlearn and relearn. Some people, they will just feel helpless. They are tired. They cannot do anything. You know why? Think about it now. The early years, the native years, this child was planted, nurtured. And you know what I always say is that, you see these seeds, they pay off. They pay off something. They reward this. They reward. There's a reward for them. Let me give you an example. For example, I'm just trying to think of an example I will give right now. Someone who is okay. Let me use something trendy that we all can relate to. Someone who wants to start, I want to start video content. And it tells herself that, and the person, one of the thing that is holding the person back, self-confidence. I know self-confidence, lack of it shows up in so many ways. Perfection seeking, a lot of ways. Now, this person, maybe is perfection seeking, perfectionist. That's how her lack of, or his lack of confidence shows up. And then this person will now say, okay, let me think. What I'm going to do now is, I just want to space. My space has to be super fine. I will have XYZ. I start my video, but I don't have money, so I'm not going to start video content until I make some money before I start my video content. Year 1, year 3. Now, how does it? Someone come and say, "Oh, if you want video to go viral, your space has to be like this. Your space has to be like this. It has to be like this." And then she will say, "Eh, I said it. I need to wait." Or maybe one of these she'll make a video. That's the first video she'll make, and if you don't get as much views, and then she'll say, I said, if my video was XYZ, would have done better because my ABC is not doing good. So that thing that happened has kind of confirmed, kind of confirmed what is sabotage. At the end of the day, she will believe it. It has rewarded her mindset and with it. She will not have realized that what is holding her back is nothing but self-sabotaging or self-sabotage, guilt tripping, and emotional manipulation. Don't manipulate your child emotionally. After all I've done for you, after all the sacrifices, do you know what I went through when I was pregnant with you? It's only your pregnancy that stressed me. Do you know this? Do you know that? Emotional manipulation, making a child feel guilty. At the end of the day, your child is going to feeling responsible for every. It is even when they are not wrong, they will not even when they are not wrong in the situation, they will claim the blame. Apologize for what they are not supposed to apologize for. Someone was saying that in Nigeria we apologize too much. That one time her boss was telling her, why apologizing? Just to make a point, she will apologize. The boss will ask her, why are you apologizing? Instead of her to say, oh, please excuse me. See me now. Instead of her to say, excuse me, oh, I'm sorry. She's always apologizing. Why? One of the reasons may actually be that person manipulated a lot of us growing up now. Some of these things are not, except you sit down and learn. Like I said, to sit down and learn some of these things. If you don't sit down and learn, realize that you will find yourself in the web. You keep doing apologizing. You go to an office, you are timid. It happens, you're apologizing up and down. Why are you apologizing? If I don't know what she said, how she said it, but if I heard the thing she actually said, you listen to me, you will say, yes, it's what I also doing as a normal thing. But why apologize for when the boss told her you are not wrong? Why are you apologizing? She kept apologizing. Emotional manipulation. She has been raised to think, oh, she's responsible for all the things in the world. Yes. Parents are always manipulating her emotionally. After all I've done, after this, after that, this, even with that. Emotional manipulation. Number 8, comparison. Comparing your child, them to their sibling or peers. You know, I have talked about this over and over. If you check my last video, I'll mention it because I was that was greatly compared. Growing up, my parents compared me, us the children, were to everyone else. Anyone that has a little advantage than us, not necessarily an advantage for going to school. Anyone that was doing something that we're not doing. Can't you see this person? She's doing this. Can't you see that? We're always compared. And I've shared the effect it has on me. Till today, struggling. I'm still learning how to be audacious. Today, I'm still learning how to say no to procrastination. Till today, I'm still discovering myself because of comparison. How it shows up. Why can't you be organized like your brother? Or look at your classmates. Why are you like this? The damage is fracture siblings unity and breeds deep regret. That is one. It plants seeds of inaddiction and toxic envy, making a child feel like they are never enough. They are toxic envy. I talked about this. I said the family were always being compared to. At some point, it was addiction because that was the idea to motivate us. So at some motivation, at some point it became like envy, and it graduated to hatred, bitterness. You know, and it doesn't just. It's not just about that particular person. that your child is going to feel way two ways. It's anyone is much as a little advantageous than your child, they are going to feel envious. It is why very many of us have to collaborate. It is why I was a couple of weeks ago, so talking to the Visionary Parent Academy. I said there's a problem a lot of people have, the problem of age mentality. I'm older, so people, they don't want to cooperate with people that they are older than. In the offices, you want to greet someone, you feel you are older than you start carrying shoulders. Age is a no. What does it matter? Really? What does it matter? Age. Comparison that we're age, it puts a kind of set in you. So you, your owner, you are looking for, you are even better than, boost your ego a little. So when you see people, they are, maybe they may be superior to some areas, your age becomes like your win. So people, where they are supposed to collaborate, they are not able to collaborate. People, where they are supposed to humble themselves to learn, they are not able to humble themselves to learn because of age. You know, and these seeds innocently from what comparison, comparing them to siblings, comparing them to. We are almost 1 hour. I just wanted this class to end at 1 hour, but we are over time. Number 9 is punishing out of personal anger. Now, before so that, I'll remind you that next month we have the yourself class, master class, 1 whole month. Come and join. If you watch, the fee is 15,000 naira. You 1 whole month. But if you are in this class watching this video, you can send a message and we'll give you a great discount for 10,000 naira because you are in this class. Send a message and say you attended the class of today and you can to apply, and the discount will apply. Okay, let's go. Punishing out personal anger. Also remember that the Visionary Parent Academy is open for registration for 2027. Send a message now and join. Punishing out personal anger. How it shows handing down an extreme long punishment in the heat of the moment. You are grounded for 3 months. There are things definitely because you control of your own emotions. I already said it. I don't want to emphasize this. I already always know that discipline is an emotion. It's not an emergency. You need to activate your brain before you discipline. One of the things we do as parents is, even when we're angry, we just is it declare, I want to use the word, one consequence like that we are not even able to follow through. That makes us inconsistent. Remember, I am inconsistent. How always moving the goal is a terrible way to discipline the child. The child doesn't know what to expect. Is confused. Even the child is not even organized. They don't know what to expect. The things that happen is when you just out of anger, you just give your child a punishment or a consequence, you will realize that most times you realize that, oh, it was unrealistic. Now, because it's unrealistic, you are going to not be able to see it through. And when you are not able to see it through, you are already your child and invitation not to trust you. So when they break more rules, when they stand up to you, you are where did it start? It all started when you were not consistent. It all started when you were able to control anger. You just blocked. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Just blotted at the punishment. Because angry, empty threat. You see parents say, I'll break your head today, I'll do this, you out. When you don't mean it, your child will not take you seriously. What damage does the child focuses entirely on your unfairness and rage rather than their own mistake. It brings resentment towards authority and teaches them that power, not just, is what will. That is just it. So I tell parents that when you force your child, one of the things that happens when you force is that child you as a bully. it makes, because okay, you are doing it because you can do it. You are doing it because you are the mommy. You are doing it because you are older than me. They don't see that we need because of what they have done. Now, this is where natural consequences is negotiable is this way. Because when you use consequences, your child sees it that okay, something happened because of what they have done. They are facing the consequences of their actions, and not the one that did it. They are facing the consequences totally uninfluenced by you. And guess what? You all have the opportunity to empathize and connect with them. Instead of you to say I told you so, or you are growth over their, you actually want to show, oh, I'll always be there for you. I'm your pillar. Is what you want to do with natural consequences. So when you over punish or you making more things that kills, overreacting, one of the things actually doing to your child is that you are making them move away from what they want to as being you as a consequence, you as being a bully, or how fair you are, how unjust you are. Number 9. Number 10, lecturing, listening. You talk and talk, you are not even listening to their side of the story, you just talk and you're talking. How does this show up? Launching a 30 minutes monologue about your passions and expectations, ever letting your child explain their thought process or perspective. Even when you want to lecture your child, you want to teach your child, it has to be, it is when the vision academy, there's some collaborative problem solving. Collaborative problem solving. You are not the one doing all the talking. Your child, your conversing. That way your child understanding what actually happened. Not you explaining to them to understand. They are explaining by themselves. So in their explanation, they are getting the rema. They are standing. You throw questions at them. Okay, what do you think? Okay, this is what happened. Okay, this is what happened. You throw questions at them. Answer. In their answering questions, they are getting a lot of more they shoot themselves. Many explain what they did not think about before. That is how you bring them down and doing all talking. It becomes boring. But when they do the talking, it gets boring. And even do the talking while you are doing the listening and answering. It doesn't get boring. But you are doing all the talking, it really gets boring. The damage it does, silence their yes. The things that their thoughts, emotions, and reasons do not matter. They stop with you and will look for external pain or unverified voices who are actually willing to listen to them. We already know this. Overemphasizing on this. When you don't listen to your child, it's not stop things to say. They will not having their side of the story. They will still have their side of the story, the things to say. However, the difference, they will not be telling you again. They will just come sit down, you do your and they will say thank you, okay, wait. They will not be telling you again, but they need to talk. So they go and talk to someone. They actually not mean well for them. Again, it is not about what your child does, it's about how you talk to the child. Imagine you are not listening to them, they are looking for someone who listens. They may not be the wrong place to talk to someone. Just as eventually Frank Edowa's wife went to the wrong chike, probably lean on the others. Now these are the 10 ways you are shaping your child, that are shaping your child. I have taught you today. I hope you had your writing materials and your notes. But this is the Visionary Parents Academy. This is powered by the Visionary Parents Academy, and that is open all year long and is welcoming you. In fact, you are with us, welcoming you with a warm hug. Join us and transform your parenting. We also have parenting yourself, and for next month is open. Because you're in this class, you can send a message and join for 10,000 naira, otherwise 15,000 naira. Thank you so much for today. See you next week Tuesday. Bye bye.